Okay, hey guys. So these suprahyoid muscles can be very confusing, and so I want to make it unconfusing with a simple trick. In PT school, a lot of times we use our hands, or I don't know, your body is your cheat sheet. So if I want to teach you a real quick hack on how to learn the suprahyoid muscles, their actions, innervations, and yeah, just the basic idea of how they all work together. So you want to look at this being the back most muscle, most posterior, and then this would be the anterior. Again, this is probably not how it's arranged in the body. It could be, but this just helps you understand how it's going to pull on the hyoid bone and the mandible. Okay, so the palm of your hand, or my hand, is my hyoid bone. And then up here would be my mandible. So you just have to envision the mandible up there. This will be my geniohyoid. So genio means chin, and hyoid means the hyoid bone, right? So that's why I've put it in the front. And then you have your digastric anterior, your mylohyoid, and your digastric posterior, and finally your stylohyoid muscle. Because the styloid process is back here, and again, hyoid bone is in front of it, so stylohyoid. So stylo, or the styloid process, would be more posterior, and then the hyoid bone is more anterior, as we said here. Okay, now that we got the muscles down, let's talk about the actions that they perform. So the mandible, obviously, is up here. There's 4 muscles that pull down on the mandible to depress it, right? That would be your geniohyoid, your digastric anterior, your mylohyoid, and your digastric posterior. All of these pull down and depress the mandible. This one, the stylohyoid, does not, because it has no attachment to the mandible. The digastrics, the geniohyoid, and the mylohyoid all have an attachment to the mandible, therefore they can pull down on the mandible. And then these 3, I call them the elevator shaft. These 3 pull our hyoid bone up, so that would be your digastric anterior, your mylohyoid, and your digastric posterior. Okay, as far as moving the hyoid backwards and forwards, your geniohyoid is pointing forward, so it would pull your hyoid bone forward. Your stylohyoid is pulling your hyoid bone back, so therefore it retracts the hyoid bone. Hey. And then, so these 2 elevate the floor of the mouth, and then this one elevates the tongue. This one retracts the tongue. So these 4 collectively have an action on the tongue. As you can see, this one could pull back the tongue. So that makes sense right there. As far as innervation goes, this one's C1 running with the hypoglossal, so that would be your geniohyoid. C1 with hypoglossal. This one, your digastric anterior, actually has a different innervation from the digastric posterior. So the digastric anterior and the mylohyoid are collectively innervated by the trigeminal nerve, and then the digastric posterior and the stylohyoid are innervated by the facial nerve, and that's pretty much it.